that I could turn it off. Once you have it, I turn it off, so it's not running.
What happened to me?
Running in the it'll be running on YouTube, but not on us.
My picture just.
Okay, here we go. Isn't that slow us down for a second? But then it'll come back. We're frozen.
Okay.
We'll see if you want to do this. It's comfy.
What happened to my picture?
Go. It's gonna get better once we get. Okay.
All right. Oh, see a Coco.
All right. Now I'm gonna turn this off.
You tell you the truth, but okay.
And now
I'm there up to mine now. Okay.
Okay, so who do we got David Colco. Okay. Got Judith Colco.
Find anybody.
And there's
there's
Rachel.
Okay.
Yay. Okay. So we have Rachel.
Still connecting. And how can you make it so you move everyone at the top so you
The way you do it is I mute everyone and then I unmute our speakers and they will, and as long as I don't unmute
and that's
everyone.
perfect. I'll
Right.
introduce them and they can wave and say
Right.
hello.
And then they'll stay at the top.
All
As long as
right.
I can unmute all. Unmute all, then you lose.
All right. You've got a plan. Do we have all our speakers? Rachel, can I ask you,
This is full support.
do you, nice to see you. Does your mom, I don't see her, but I did send her some.
No, Judith.
Judith.
She's there. Jay Colco.
Judith, are you on there? Can you hear us?
Yes.
Okay, are you okay with the email? Are you okay? Is that okay if I shoot questions your way?
Yes.
Okay, good. All
I'm
right.
going to start muting people so we can
Okay.
hear. So
Okay.
mute all. Here we
I
go.
don't see your mom yet. Do you see
Let me
mom?
see here. Okay. Here,
I don't see your mom yet.
someone is unmuted.
Grandma, need a password. Okay.
Tell my mom the password. Bethel, all small letters.
Bethel,
Small letters.
all small letters.
All right. We're getting my mom online here. Okay.
All right.
You are muted. There's nothing wrong with your microphones. 43, 50 people talking at the same time is always fun.
Look, we get a little.
Who do you see?
We get Miss Bryn too.
Oh, Bryn's on. Hello, Bryn.
We have to rename it. We have to rename their square. Rachel and Bryn.
You want Rachel and Bryn? Okay, here we go.
Yes,
Rachel, tell me if my
absolutely.
mom comes on. And
I
Bryn.
don't see her yet.
Okay. It's with a Y.
Okay.
Oh, wait, we're frozen here.
Oh, shucks.
Oh, darn. Okay.
We'll unfreeze.
We will.
Or maybe not. That would be very exciting.
There we go. We're moving again.
Okay.
Until everyone gets in, it just kind of
Yeah.
freezes every now and
Okay,
then.
and just know,
Yep.
first
Hey,
of all, welcome.
Rachel, Rachel, you want to unmute yourself for a second? Okay.
Sure.
Did I spell Bryn right?
Great.
Oh,
Yes,
I
she
can't hear.
makes it go.
Yeah.
Welcome.
And just know, everyone, if we freeze or we go away or someone who's speaking freezes or goes away, it
Right.
happens, and we'll come back or they'll come back. So no worries. We've learned that it happens and it comes back.
Right.
So technical difficulties. So we are so happy.
There's my mom. She's Congregation
Is
Beth
she?
Shalom. Okay, here we go.
Oh, good. We are so happy that you all are here for our first Monday program, honoring the special women in our lives. And what we're going to do is we're going to introduce all of our speakers and who they are. And we're going to ask them if they don't mind to wave and say hello, because that will help us do two things. It will help you know who they are, and it will also
Here,
help
let me
pull them
spotlight
to the top of our screen so that when we want to ask them questions, it'll be easy for us to pull them down.
And I see a lot of people who are new to Zoom. If you can see lots and lots of squares, 46 squares on your screen, you're in gallery view. If you want to see the speaker who's speaking, then you want to be in speaker view. For many of us who are on computers, PCs, and laptops, it's in the top. Mine is the right-hand corner. There's a little picture of a grid. You press the grid, you see 47 squares. If you press that again, it should be one big square with just a few. We recommend the big view so you can see who's speaking, but we can't stop you from looking at all the little squares. You are muted. The way you'll ask questions is if you have technological ability, you can go down to where it says chat, and you can send us a chat, and only we will see it when we get to question points. So it's not like you can send it to everyone, so you can't say, oh, this is terrible, and everyone sees it. And We will also kind of go to that gallery view. If you don't know how to use technology at all and you just go like this, we might call on you as well. So Rabbi Amy, you're going to start figuring out who's speaking, and I'm going to move them up to the top. So here it goes.
So we are starting with our main speaker,
just introduce
which
them
is
one at a time.
Dr. Rachel Conlon,
Okay,
and she is
go.
a psychologist and a member and a close friend.
So I'm going to
And
spotlight.
So, yes, and can Rachel, can you say hello and give us your official title and kind of what you do, if you don't mind?
You have to unmute yourself, Rachel. Good.
Sure. So I'm a clinical psychologist, and my background is in obesity and eating disorders, mostly within children, families, pregnant and postpartum women. And I'm really excited to be a part of this today.
Thank you.
Okay.
Next, who are we introducing?
And next we have our moms. First, we'll introduce my mom.
Your mom.
My
Here we
mom,
go.
Sharon Schomer.
Unmuting mom, spotlighting mom. That it. Now you can introduce.
There's mom.
We can hear you, mom.
Okay, mom, you want to just say hello and where you are, maybe?
Hello, I am in Scottsdale, Arizona, and it's a pleasure to be with all of you today.
Okay, thanks,
Thank you.
Mom.
And Amy's mom signed on 20 minutes ago.
She
Okay, here we go.
And now we have Mom
Okay.
Green Farm.
My mom, I am unmuting,
You wanna
and
tell
you
us
are
where
unmuted.
you are, Mom?
And here
Say
you
hello.
go. Mom, you look great.
Hi, how are you? I'm Mona Greenbaum. I'm Rabbi Alex's mom, and I'm speaking to you from West Bloomfield, Michigan.
And that's nice. And I want you to call me Rabbi from now on, Mom.
Yes, Rabbi.
Don't worry,
Thank you.
she'll give it to him later, boy.
Still have
Not
that
to
fake
worry.
fruit. Okay, here we go. Next. Who else are we introducing?
Okay, and we've got Beth Pomerantz.
Okay, let me find Beth, because
Beth,
this way
will you wave to us? There's Beth.
There's Beth. You are unmuted. You
And
are
Beth,
spotlighted.
when we spotlight, if you could just say hello and tell us where you are.
Hi, I'm here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and with all of these wonderful women, I have no idea why I'm here.
We are so happy you are here. Thank you, Beth. Awesome.
Okay.
And we have, is Lynn, now Lynn Toder was going to be on with us, but she was having some difficulties. She might be
Oh,
on
wait, we have two
phone.
side pages.
She is
You
probably
think that's-
on the phone.
Let me try
I
that.
do. Let's try to unmute
Okay, I
Lynn.
unmuted a phone. Is that you, Lynn?
I'm on the phone and it says meeting password.
Oh.
I don't have a meeting password.
Well, actually, are you on a phone and you want to, I mean, if you're on a phone, we can hear you. So,
Okay. I'd love to see you all.
okay. The meeting password is Bethel, Bethel, all small letters.
Wait a minute. Bethel.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not. Wait a minute. Just a minute.
But you're on the meeting, so it's a bad sign because you're already on the meeting. So
Yeah.
it's unlikely you're going to get better.
Okay. What's Bethel after Bethel? Then what?
That's it.
Lynn, I think we might just get you via phone from talking to Tracy.
Okay. Oh no, I see me now. I don't want to see me.
Oh, good.
You see you?
I want to see you guys.
Oh, you know what? If you slide your finger across the screen, it might work.
She's on a real computer.
Oh, you're on a real phone. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Never mind.
So you know what? I'm gonna ask Tracy. I'm gonna text her and ask her to call you and help you. But in the meantime, Lynn, do you want to just tell us where you are? Just say hello and tell us where you're talking to us from.
I am in Mount Lebanon, Pennsylvania, at Concordia.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much. And Judith Coco, where are you, Judith?
Okay, we're going to find her.
We're gonna find you.
She's going to be on that first page. There's too many
Judith,
people. It's a real problem.
That's, yeah,
Judith.
Judith.
It's probably this J. Coco.
J.
Let's try it.
Coco, yeah.
Let's see what
Judith,
happens.
you want to say hello and where you're talking to us from?
Hello, everybody. I'm talking to you from our dining room here in Mount Lebanon, Pennsylvania. And I am very appreciative of being included in this conversation.
Our
Very
pleasure.
nice.
And so you know that is Rachel's mom and Bryn's grandma. So,
Yes.
okay. All right. Well, we are going to get started. I don't think I forgot anyone. But we are happy that you're here and we are honoring all of the awesome women in our lives and in our community. Thank you so much for being with us. And we are going to start. Why don't you start with question number 1 for Rachel?
Question number 1 for Rachel. Okay, here we go. Since you were first to be asked, you now disappear off my screen. So
Oh
I will
my
now
goodness.
go back
There
to
she
Rachel.
is.
She's
Okay,
still smiling.
spotlighter, still
Okay,
smiling.
and you can unmute yourself, Rachel, because you're young. Okay, here it goes. So Rachel, what roles or identities do you associate with? Mother, daughter, granddaughter, niece, as a Jewish person, a woman, a Bethel congregant, how would you describe yourself to others in your role as a woman, professionally, and family-wise?
I would say nearly all of them. So I think, especially in this time of working remotely, working from home, so depending on what it is, the identity most present, I would say I totally am a mix of mother, daughter, wife, professional, psychologist, friend, caregiver, care receiver. I certainly think the Jewish piece has come into play a little bit more since becoming a mother, and we've decided we want to have a Jewish home. So all of those, and I think really nice to hear from the other folks as well.
Okay, you got it. Okay, so we're also going to ask Judith. Judith,
Okay,
can we
here we
ask you
go.
the same question? What role or identities do you associate with when you think of yourself? And
Judith doesn't get a spotlight because she's kind of
yeah,
video.
yeah,
Okay.
sorry, Judith. But it's kind of
Sorry.
interesting. If somebody asks you, how would you describe yourself? You know, often you get that question, right? Like, how do you describe yourself? So Judith, how would you describe yourself in terms of those roles?
I very much identify as a Jewish woman, growing up in a strong Jewish household, and David and I had hopefully provided the same for our 2 children. And it's amazing to see it continue down the line with Rachel and Matt and Bryn in their household. I love being a mother-in-law, and along with being a mother and a sister, and every role that there is within a family. Both David and I enjoy the pleasure of having loving families on both sides that we communicate easily and openly, and welcome those members of the family of different faiths that have joined our family. So we are continually evolving. And my view of how I would have thought life had been growing up in these days is quite different. Not just pandemic focused, but just overall the world coming into our own family and greeting and welcoming those folks that are joining us.
Thank you so much. I think we'll go to Mom Schomer.
Mom Schomer, here we go. Unmuting, spotlighting, Mom Schomer.
Well, I feel like I have many of the same roles as the other women who have spoken. I am a wife, a mother, a mother-in-law, a sister, a grandmother, and a friend. And I put a lot of love into all of it because I feel so blessed to have so many wonderful people in my life. So I love being a mother and a grandmother, and it's just very fulfilling. And I would say that's it.
Okay.
Hey,
All
Mom.
right. Mom, who is called by, when Miles came in, Bubbles. Bubby. Also known as Bubbles. Okay, I'm going to switch questions for a minute, and don't worry, if we didn't ask you that question, we'll catch you on another question. But Rachel, I want to go back to you for a minute, and if we catch you at a minute when it's not good with Bryn, you just let us know and we'll swap over to someone else. But I was wondering, you know, a lot of people talk about the love between mothers and their children. And I was wondering, is there a psychological, a biological reason why we love our children so much?
I think the answer is yes, there are biological underpinnings or reasons, as you say, for the connections that we have, and we're only just now starting to really understand and explore them. So within the mother context, there's a lot that's been related within pregnancy and postpartum about bonding, hormones and other drivers of behavior that come into play that allow for connection. And much of what we study is often when things aren't going in the way that we expect. And so we understand women who, if there are biological deficits or differences in some of the makeup, the chemistry, whether that's in the brain or other neurotransmitters or other biological processes that are happening, that can certainly play a role. We also know that there are reasons to be connected to people across different roles and different age spectra. So when people feel more connected to others, whether that's family or friends, and when they have routines and when they have social interaction, people tend to be healthier and feel better and be able to do more. And so we know that these are really important, kind of no matter who you are or the person or the people in your lives. Having those connections are really useful for physical, mental, and social health.
Okay, so important right now, which is why we're so happy you all are with us. Thank you, because keeping connected in those bonds, it's so crucial. I want to turn to Beth Pomerantz.
I'll get the
We gotta
Beth.
find you. Hold
No,
on,
no,
Beth.
she doesn't have to move.
Okay, you don't have to
Unmute.
move. Yeah.
Spotlight. There you go.
So Beth,
You just
let us
Yes.
ask, let us ask you, which women in your life have influenced you the most, do you think?
Have influenced me the most?
Yeah.
Well, my grandmother, she was one of the youngest members of the Mothers Club that founded Bethel.
Wow.
And that's where a lot of the Bethel ties come in. And my mother, as I've often said of my mother, that the Pomerantz men had one absolutely genius thing that they did. They all married sweet women. So, but she's amazing. She seems very quiet and demure, but when she speaks, you listen.
Mm.
And I've learned a lot from her. She was an amazing woman.
Thank you so much.
Okay, Mom, I'm coming to you. Okay, wait. You just moved up to the top of my list. And here we go. You're unmuted. You are spotlighted. And Mom, my question for you, same one. Which women in your life have influenced you the most?
I would say my mom. She was a very strong woman. She was very loving, and she was all very, very supportive. Actually, there was nothing I could do wrong. Everything I did was fabulous. She just gave me the confidence I needed to grow. And that's hopefully the way I raise my own children, to make them feel like they could do anything also.
Very nice.
Did a good job raising at least one. Okay. Okay.
Okay, if he doesn't say so, no. I always joke with Mom that Alex always said that she would say to him when he was giving her a hard time, "I wish I knew a child just like you," when he and I would say, "But Mom, you like me. You didn't know I would be the one at home raising them when they are crazy." So anyways, okay, on to let's go to Judith.
Judith, here we come for you. We're coming for you, Judith. Don't go anywhere because I can find you. You're unmuted. You are not spotlighted, but we can hear you.
Okay, so
Okay.
Judith, and for this, maybe you can explain what you do professionally. For my question for you is, as a woman, a mother, a daughter, a female professional, what kind of impact would you like to have on others? And is there a special impact that you'd like to have on some of the women with whom you work?
Oh boy, that's a challenging question.
You can pass if you want. We've got others.
No. I just need a minute to think. I'm not sure if those in the audience know. My work role is the Director of Student Activities at Mount Lebanon High School, the local high school here in our community. I've been in this position for 7 years or so. And I relish the job that I get to do and work with these young people. They only get to spend a short period of time and then they move on to the next step that they have. And while I work with them, I get to see an amazing amount of growth and physical, the short little 9th grade boys that come in and how they grow up to be, as Miles is a perfect example, your other sons too, that they physically grow, but they also emotionally and mentally grow. And I think all those in the audience who are in the teaching profession can join me in that observation. But also to the position that I work with these kids is a lot in the leadership roles, and to see them come in with ideas, some of which are very practical, some that seem rather far-fetched, but I give them support and understanding and do everything that I can to see their vision become accomplished. And I can work with them in a way that maybe their parents don't get to see, and just offer them confidence building skills and public speaking skills and different sets of skills that they can end up using through the rest of their lives is my hope. So I very much enjoy what I do and hopefully have a positive impact on them.
We know
Thank
firsthand that you
Yeah.
do have a positive impact
Absolutely.
on high schoolers. Okay, Lynn, I'm going to unmute you and hope you're there. Lynn, can you hear me? Lynn Toder, can you hear me? 3, 2, 1. We did hear you, but you went too far down the technology spectrum. Okay, Lynn, but it was nice hearing you for a moment.
Okay, well, we'll see. We have Tracy on it, so maybe. How about if you ask Rachel this one?
Okay, fine. We'll go back to Rachel. We are going to go that spotlight. She can unmute herself, and she has done it. Rachel, during the COVID-19 pandemic, how have you been in touch with people, parenting, cared for, connecting with people in your life? How have you been doing it?
I would say on the parenting front, we're getting a lot more time together. Brandon's usually at the JCC for daycare, and we have been home together this whole time, which has been really quite amazing and wonderful, and unique, and has its own challenges with working full time. So I think the technology piece has been really, really important for me in terms of connection with family and friends and with work. I think if this pandemic had happened 10, 15 years ago, it would have looked totally different. So feel thankful for that. Video, FaceTime, Zoom, other platforms where you can see people have made a difference also. We certainly do regular phone calls. And I think the ability to see people and to see people's homes and lives and to feel that connection has been great. We've actually done more mailing of letters and cards and received some, partly with having a toddler. It's just fun to have something to look for and open. And so done more of that. Living close to my parents and to other family members, my brother and sister-in-law and others, has allowed for some socially distanced getting together, dropping off things at each other's houses or going for walks has been really nice and meaningful. So I've also been able to connect with people, good friends from growing up and other family members who don't live in town through technology, which has been really nice. And I think it's pushed us all to connect more and check in more often and stay connected. So some lemonade being made out of the lemons of COVID-19.
And let me ask you, when you and I were talking about this, we talked about how Mother's Day is not just a day for mothers, but a day to honor the special women in our lives. And I feel very close to Rachel because she is the niece of my dear friend, Susan Cohn, who passed away. And so we were talking about that. We were talking about how we honor, all of the women in our lives. And I know it's not on our list of questions, but can you kind of share a little bit about how you guys honored all the women in your lives?
And Rachel, wait 1 second. Lynn, can you hear us? Okay, someone unmuted her. That wasn't me. Go ahead, Rachel.
Sure. You're gonna have some background music by
We
Brit-
like
We
background
love
music.
background music.
Go for it. We're used to it.
Yeah.
your ears hang low.
Awesome.
I think that the idea of honoring, and for folks who are with us currently in our lives and in this world, and those who were with us, they're very much a part of things. And so Mother's Day and this past weekend has meant something special to me for many years, because my mom made it a really special weekend where we celebrated women in our lives and hosted an annual brunch that I don't know how many years, but this was the first year we were not all together. We Zoomed it. Hi, Sweet Pea. So we have always celebrated the women who came to that. And I think several in the online audience here have been a part of that. And the idea is that all women have been celebrated. I think that women, the role of mother is unique and special, and the role of many other women and female roles are really unique and special as well. And so having that be a part of my life since growing up has really expanded my view and my focus. And in my work within pregnancy and postpartum women, just understanding the different constellations of families or care systems, or what it means, and how different cultures and groups really honor their family or the women in their lives in a variety of ways has been inspiring.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, we're going to switch tax for a minute,
Okay.
and we're going to go to Mom Greenbaum.
Mom Greenbaum, come on up. That's okay. We are unmuting Mom. Okay, you have to unmute yourself, Mom. You got technologically. Oh wait, we're the one from.
We're frozen, but
Okay.
we'll come back.
There we are. Mom, we can hear you. We can see you. We were the frozen ones.
Yes. Okay, Mom. So we have to ask you, can you share some of your favorite memories of being Alex's mom or our mom?
Oh my goodness. Now remember, you asked for this.
I think it will be okay.
Well, I have to say, well, first of all, I have to preface it with it. Alex was not the most ideal student in Hebrew school growing up. He was the kid you used to have to go find down by the 7-Eleven. He was the kid that somebody was complaining about was the most badly behaved kid during services. He was a problem, and he was the one that when I taught in a day school, I was teaching math, and he was somebody's teacher. The teacher would bring him to me and ask me to do something with him. So it was a very strange thing, when Alex, who was a business major at Michigan State, called us towards the end of his sophomore year to tell us that he decided he was going to become a rabbi. So, of course, we were hysterical. We thought that was the biggest joke. We thought he was just putting us on. And he said, no, he said, I was very involved in USY and AZA. He was president of USY. He was vice president in AZA. He's in a Jewish fraternity where he's about living in the fraternity house there, and they all call him Rabbi because whenever they have a question, they ask Alex, because he says to me, he says, Mom, I remember everything I ever learned in day school and Hebrew school, believe it or not. He said, and I really like people, and I like the idea, and I grew up, and I guess I was born to be a rabbi. And amazingly enough, he did it. And we have to laugh every day because we know now he has to get up every morning and go to synagogue, which he didn't want to do, but now he loves it. So I have to say he's found a home in Pittsburgh, unfortunately, because we'd rather have him here. But he's become a wonderful son and a great rabbi. So thank you.
Those are both thanks to Amy. And you, Mom.
Thanks.
All right, we're going to next.
Okay. All righty. I think we can go to Mom Schomer next.
Mom Schomer, we
Mom
are unmuting
Schomer.
you. We are spotlighting you. Mom, you did good. Okay,
Okay.
mute my mom and unmute your mom. We can hear you.
I guess Amy was the opposite because to me, she was a perfect child. And Amy
Perfect.
was always very helpful and wanted to help people and be friends with them. And she studied, I don't know, she was just one of those wonderful children. And one special memory that I do have is when Amy was going to be ordained at the Jewish Theological Seminary. And she was going up on the stage, and I was holding Justin, who was 2 months old. And all of a sudden, our rabbi from our synagogue in Chicago, who was somewhat of a mentor to Amy, walks in the door. He looks at me holding Justin. He looks at Amy, who is just being ordained at that moment. He comes over to me, hugs me, smiles, and has tears in his eyes. And it was just such a special moment to see Amy being ordained, me appreciating it and him appreciating it. And it was a very, very special moment. And Amy has always wanted to help people and be a part of giving them what they need. So that's one of my special memories.
Nice. Good job, Mom.
So thanks, guys. So, okay, so we have a question for you.
For whom?
And well, I'm going to put it out there and then we'll figure it out.
Okay, here we go.
Okay,
So you get the spotlight.
here's the question. The question is, when we think about, and I'll probably ask as many as we have time for actually, but when we think about the blessing that we say on Friday night to our daughters, we say, may God make you like Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah. And then we say, may God give you peace and wholeness. And so when you think about the people in your lives, when you think about the women in your lives, when you think about, I'm wondering, what blessings would you like for them? What characteristics would you like for them to have as they go forth in the world? So Rachel, it looks like it's quiet in your house. Should we start with you for the moment? When you think about
We'll
blessing Bryn,
when she unmutes.
what would you like? What would be your blessings for Bryn?
You can whisper.
Yeah.
Sure, it's a wonderful question and probably layers, and I'm sure I will think of more things to add after this is done. So for now, I would say I wish her much of the good and all of the wonderful things that I had, and I think wanting to provide her with the same love and support, and her ability to in turn love and support others, openness and kindness, and the ability to see the good in things, perseverance. It seems like there is so much throughout our family and throughout history that shows being supported and supporting one another, being connected, and yeah, it's over here. And being there for one another really matters, and how much we all benefit from having close connections, family, friends, our community. And so I wish her all of that. And then health, certainly on all levels, health and happiness.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I'm going to go to Beth now. Beth, I know that some people might not know, but we know that you're a teacher for many, many years.
Yeah,
and so
still are.
Yeah, absolutely. When you think about your
still
students,
still is.
Still is. Okay. We need you. You are an English
So
teacher,
mom.
right?
So
No,
my...
math, honey.
Yeah,
your mother's a math
teacher. With English too.
Okay. So when you think about, what would you like? What kind of blessings would you like to see go to your students, to the next generation? What do you think that we should be blessing people with, Beth?
I was thinking about some of this before and thinking, I'm not sure how to answer this. I've always hoped that you have to be honest with kids, and you have to be curious, and you have to be willing to learn. And they were always surprised when I would say, I don't know, but we'll find out. And I wanted them to know that. I was surprised that they were surprised. I wanted them to be confident. I wanted them to learn to speak with others and how to treat others. And I think that the way that you do that is by being that way yourself, or trying to be that way yourself. And I didn't care about the English except for some Pittsburghese, but other than that, it was what they were as people. And that was always what I've remembered about kids. And I don't know what kind of impression, because I'm probably the most unaware person about myself that I know. But I had a couple of very funny things happen. Mara Rosenfeld texted me and said, they're talking about you on Facebook. I said, what? She said, they're talking about you on Facebook. Get on Facebook. Well, it turns out that there's this Friends of Mount Lebanon, and this group was saying, do you remember these teachers? And I was one of them. Well, with great trepidation, I went on and looked. And actually, it was lovely. It was really, really lovely. Got in touch with a couple of the kids later, and I was really pleased with the things that they remembered. And the kind, it wasn't the subject. It might have been something I read. It might have been something that steered them in a different direction, got them to be more comfortable. And actually, a couple people I've influenced in their careers, which I thought was really cool. But I think that's probably the most important thing. And the other thing that happened was that I met a kid again. It was from Gary Weiss's Shiva, actually. And Melissa said to me, oh my gosh, John Sankey's going to be so happy. He went, and I said, here, give him my email. And we talked. He came to Pittsburgh. He lives, I think, in Arizona. And when he was in Pittsburgh, we went out and had lunch. And one of the loveliest things that he said to me was, he was not a very good student. I don't care. But he said to me, you know, when we would come down and talk to you after school, you would talk to us about anything. And that was really neat. You never had other work to do. You would talk to us. You'd make all the time that we needed. And I was stunned, but I was so thrilled that that's the kind of impression I make occasionally. So I was very, very happy about that.
Thank you
Very
so
nice.
much. Thank you. I think let's go to Judith.
Here we go, Judith. I know where you are. You are unmuted. And I will take the spotlight back for Rabbi Amy. Here we go.
So Judith, can we ask you the same question? What do you hope? What blessings would you like for your daughters and sons and grandchildren and the next generation?
All that's been said before from both Beth and by Rachel, and for them, as evidenced by today, a strong sense of community, that whether it be a Jewish community or otherwise, that there's a connection. The wonderfulness that our children have experienced is the guiding hands of many who help them grow up, and that future generations of our family and others have that same sense from friends, from neighbors, and from relatives, of course, but that there's those in the audience today who greatly influenced our children in many positive ways and helped them along their path to becoming adults. And as Rachel referenced, of course, good mental and physical health, I think, is so very important. And that sense of community will allow them not to feel alone, that often happens, I think, in the world. And that if we all can connect with one another, that it doesn't feel physically so alone as we all are in our own homes these days. And hopefully we'll be venturing out at some point safely. That there's just many levels of good goodness in the world, and that they also have strong and very positive oriented religious leaders like the two of you, I think are very important to have in one's life.
Thank you so
Good, Angela.
much. Well, you know, you all have been so wonderful.
Here,
We want to thank you guys. We want to thank you all so much. We want to thank you all for being with us. We want to thank and honor all women and all men.
let me see if
And
Lynn's
let's-
there.
oh,
One
let's try
last
Lynn.
chance.
Okay,
We do
let's
it
try Lynn
three
again.
chances.
Lynn is incredible. I
Lynn,
hope-
are you there? Lynn Toder, can you hear me? And the
No.
answer is no, but it was worth a shot. Go on,
Okay,
keep
well,
going.
I'll just tell you a little bit about Lynn. Has been a volunteer in our religious school with our kindergarten students for so many years, and she is so wonderful and kind and smart. And so, Lynn, if you can hear us, we
Yeah.
love you. We think you're awesome, and thank you for your willingness to be a
Yeah.
part. And thank you, all of you. Thank you, Rachel and Judith and Mom and Beth. We're just really grateful. And we reference the priestly benediction, and we reference blessing one another. And so I thought it would be a nice way to end if we could all bless each other, the men and the women among us. And so we'll start, since we honor the women among us, but don't worry, Father's Day is coming.
Oh yeah, that makes a difference. Okay.
We'll start with the men among us, and then we'll go to the women. So starting with the men among us, Yesimcha Elohim Ke'Ephraim v'Chemenashe. May God make you like Ephraim and Manasseh. And for the women among us, Yesimech Elohim Kesara, Rivka, Rachel, Leah. May God make you like Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah. And for all of us, let's do it together. Yivarecha Adonai v'yishmerecha, Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yichunecha, Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May God give you peace.
May God give you peace.
Amen.
Amen.
So thank you, everyone. Next week is going to be really neat too. We hope you'll be with us. It's going to be Gina Marr from Christ United Methodist Church. And I worked with her and the Social Action Project in West Virginia, I think we were. She's on the census committee, and it is fascinating. When she and I were talking, each family, I forget the exact number, she'll tell you next week, but it's something like $5,000 or $8,000 that go to resources in the community if we don't register. She's going to tell you all kinds of interesting facts about the census and about other civic engagement. Lynn, we see you. We can't hear you,
Wait,
but
no,
we see
there
you.
she is.
Can we hear her?
Oh, we can't. Okay, but we can see you.
We can see you, Lynn.
Oh.
Okay. Bye, everyone.
Should we
Thank you
unmute everyone
so
here?
much.
We'll unmute everyone.
Yes.
Here's the chaos. Everyone is unmuted. Okay. Thank you for coming.
Thank
Lynn.
you. Thank you.
Thank you, Carol and on Mazel Tov Cats, Eileen and
Fran, where's Fran?
Sylvia,
Hi, Judith.
Ellen,
Sybil.
Sam, and Ariel, and Al, and Joan, and John, and Eileen, that's Dottie.
Everybody.
Jackie and Debbie.
You know, this always sounds like romper room when you do that.
That's
Hey,
right.
Cindy,
And Jackie girl.
Sharon, Elaine.
Hi, Cindy.
Lisa, and Denise, and there's my mom.
Hi.
Bye.
Hi, Lynn.
That's Rosemary.
Lynn.
Hi, Lynn.
Mwah, mwah, mwah. Hi, Dottie.
Lynn, and how are you?
Great
There's Lynn.
Rachel.
Got about
Hey,
50 people up
Rachel.
here.
Good job, Rachel.
Thank you for this. Oh, that's
It's fun. You see Ling Bear?
I did a definition.
Yeah, here, come in the picture with me. Just come in for a sec.
Hello.
She's still there. Come here. Come on down so Rachel can see you. Here. Elaine was waving here. She just said hi, David.
Nice picture.
Hi, David.
And Dottie says hello too.
Hi, Rochelle. Shelley.
David.
Oh, I'll unplug it and then you can.
Does everybody stay well?
Hi,
Safe.
hi, Sybil.
Hi.
Hi.
Good to see you, Judith.
Nice to see you too, everyone. Really wonderful. Amazing, amazing day. Wonderful experience.
Hi, Bernice.
Nope, I don't see it, honey.
Hi, Rachel.
Rachel might have left.